Good morning, Goddess, and welcome to this week's Twin Flame Tuesday. It's interesting because I am recording this the morning of my new schedule changes naturally becoming where I wake up about 2:33 in the morning. But of course, I'm going to sleep. I'm asleep by 8, 9 easily at night. My name is Rochelle Richard, by the way, and I am the founder, CEO, and self-love empowerment coach here at Empowerment Experiences, where we look for and find our power all along this, which is each our own self-love empowerment journey. And we do know here at Empowerment Experiences that a healing twin flames journey, a twin flame journey, and its foundation is a self-love empowerment journey. On steroids, of course, I like to say. And that's from my own personal experience, my own personal knowing. I'm on this journey too, right there with you, sister. Right there with you. And so here we go. On this Twin Flame Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month, and again, so aligned that I was led to do it the morning of. So we'll see how this goes. With that, then, let's dive in, because I know I myself have been having quite a bit of a last minute assault from my own shadow space, my own wounds, because it's the last day of my birthday month. So it's kind of the last day of that month that it could undermine all the healing that I have worked through for this year, for this month, for my birthday, right? Because there's a lot of negativity and trauma around celebrating my birthday. And so it was interesting that I found myself sitting here recording this morning going, what is this that's just coming up right now? And I went, because just as this card just jumped out as I was sharing that, and I kind of had a little chuckle within. We are on a soul adventure. And even for this month of my own birthday, which this is what I encourage you to start shifting your perspective with, Goddess. This is how we find our power, is we look for how we can shift our perspective, shift how we're looking at things. And one of the big things I do for my birthday every year is called the Birthday Blessings Adventure. I went from being someone who had such a challenging time celebrating her birthday and letting herself be celebrated because of birthdays growing up every year not being so great, that again, this self-love empowerment journey, this twin flame journey, you are the catalyst. You are the one, the facilitator here. You've got to be the one to say, I am choosing to shift this. I am choosing to see that in spite of some moments that are so excruciating during this journey here, that this journey is an adventure. And so that means you can see things differently. You can do things differently. So you get different results. That's the point. This is why, Goddess, why when we fall into that ego space of the mundane, of the drudgery of life, and we're not quite acknowledging or even seeing the blessings and the abundance that abounds, and the lessons and just the experiences that we are having here in this adventure. It doesn't feel like an adventure, does it? So this is where we are. It's time to change things up, and even more so, allow for things to be changed up and step into that change. Remember, you're the catalyst, you're the facilitator. You are the one that has to take that conscious action and make those conscious changes and take those conscious steps into these shifts for yourself. Yeah. It's so fascinating because right now, even as words come through my lips, there is nothing in my mind. It's actually quite beautiful. Just as with Super Science Sunday, that reminder, Goddess, right? That deeper healing. And this is why it's so important that we shift at this time, especially on this twin flame journey. Because every time you view your counterpart through the lens of negativity or judgment, resentment, that you are in truth viewing yourself through that lens. Remember that twin flame mirror. This is what you are, and this is what we're doing here. Because we're healing, because you are a healer. And part of what we're healing is our perspective. Right? Our beliefs, the stories that keep us in perpetuating these painful cycles, this painful self-sabotage that keep us from embracing this soul adventure for ourselves. Oh, yep. Oh, yep. Because this adventure is about expansion. It's about your ascension. It is about your soul growth. It is about you coming back home to you. It is about you expanding into all the corners and cracks and crevices and edges of all of the existence that you are here to fill and, quote, take up. That's your expansion, your ascension. You're here to fill up this space, to expand your energy, your essence, your love, your divinity. To not play it small, to not close yourself off and dim your light. You're supposed to be taking up space. Remember, I mentioned at the beginning how that last little burst of wanting to undermine what was really an actually really awesome year for birthday advancement in that healing. You don't take up too much space. You are supposed to be here. You are not a mistake. The universe created you on purpose, with a purpose. To learn, grow, expand, and ascend. Doing things different. Let's mix it up. And that's, where my hands are going to for this Twin Flame Tuesday. Again, feeling this, again, the changes that have been and continue to be underway within. And where so much of the Twin Flame Collective is with regard to those who resonate with my messages, I'm looking around at goddesses that I'm in connection with, in communication with, and in my world, in my experience, and none of them are, even myself included, none of us are in direct communication with our counterparts, it by all means appears on the surface as though we are very much going our separate ways, living our separate lives, and that is what we agreed upon. Regardless of where your journey looks right, what it looks like right now, goddess, remember you are the one that has the power to shift that perspective if it doesn't feel good, if it's not empowering to see where you are on this journey. To acknowledge that where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. This is why I was divinely led and share this affirmation so much with all of you. I am where I am, and I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Because if I were supposed to be anywhere other than where I am, I would be. And you've got to trust that, goddess. That you really, really would be. That where you are is where you're supposed to be on this healing soul adventure for your soul expansion, on this twin flame self-love empowerment journey, this healing twin flames self-love empowerment journey. And so with that, let us tap into the divine masculine energies at this time, because where this divine feminine is, like I said, there's just nothing in my mind as I've been allowing things to come through. So I'm feeling that, again, there's going to be a lot of that happening where there's this final push of these sabotages within you, this sabotaging way of thinking that keeps you from truly experiencing the adventure of your adventure, right? Truly feeling the expansiveness that is happening within you, with you, around you, for you. Yeah. So, our divine masculine energies, because you see, we often think, especially the ego, right, that anytime you are experiencing, a dark night of the soul, right, because we have just kind of been taken into this deeper healing space, right, a deeper part of you is now accessible to you for this deeper healing to be taking place, because only into and through that dark space can you see the light within you. You just have to realize that all you got to do is open your eyes. You're hiding the light from yourself. When you don't feel connected to your divine masculine, it's because your eyes are closed. One of the three, at least, if not all three. Closed to these other ways of viewing your experience. Closed off to the paths illuminated to get you in a different way to where you want to be. The light is in the darkness. It's where it's found. You just have to open your eyes and it's there. Amidst the chaos. It's like, how cool that the lightning here, right? Like it's that moment. Like even this morning I came in to my office and the lights, aside from any lights, outside night lights coming in, street lamps and such. And when I flipped on the light in here, my eyes, right, that moment of adjustment, and just like when it's the night storm, right? The thunderstorm, and it's lightning and it's at night, and you want to see the lightning, but sometimes it'll pop in so bright that it's almost blinding to you and you can't quite see it. But your eyes were open. That's how bright your light really is, Goddess. And that's how bright your Divine Masculine's light is. It may not seem like it sometimes. I know there are those of us who know, especially when we allow ourselves to tap into. We know what our Divine Masculines are going and growing through. You could definitely say their own deeper, complete healing as well. Thus the reason for the non-communication. Thus the reason why the Divine Masculine continues to stay away, continues to, on the surface, appear as maybe perhaps he has just vanished off the face of the planet, because he has also this deeper healing that he is going through. And what do we do? Because I'm feeling this too. Are you? Are you feeling as though right now you just want to kind of pull away from the outside world, and even to the point that the outside world feels too much? It's more than you want to deal with right now. It's more than you want to have to face. Well, here's the thing about that, Goddess, is we live in a world where it's created around a television system where they program society with the vision, with the reality, the world they want us to be living in. And as a result, we fall into that trap of believing the lies, and yet subconsciously stepping into the habit patterns that create a life of those lies. That's why humanity is this. And the only way to unravel all of that is to shut all of that off outside of you and to start to sort through this within. Because you can be sure, if you are experiencing so much chaos in your outside world, in spite of what's going on out there, even if because there is chaos going on out there in the world, right? You don't have to focus on it. You don't watch the news. Don't. It's Kool-Aid, basically. And you are no longer in that space to willingly poison yourself with thoughts and beliefs and perspectives that do not serve this, that do not serve this, that do not serve this. This is where twin flames are as a whole. This deeper healing is calling for, is needing this retreat time, because it's your healing. And therefore, you're not going to find the answers anywhere other than within. Anywhere other than within. And wow, I looked at the timer and it was 1919. And look, the first Divine Masculine card is card number 19. Okay, let's have a look-see at 1919. I don't even know if we've ever had that number on here. And yay, we do have it here. Oh my goodness. A sign to nourish your spirit further. Faithfulness, nurture angelic connections. Oh my goodness. Get rid of bad thoughts and old habits. Let new things enter your life. This is what we're talking about shifting that perspective, about you being the catalyst. You are the facilitator of these shifts. You are the one that has to take that conscious action. And as you see within your connection, right? This is what we're focusing on. I know you want to talk to him. I know you want to reach out to him. I know that you want this. But that's the ego wanting to distract itself from your necessary healing. Look at why you want to reach out so much. Why you want him with you in this moment. What is it that you feel he or she is going to give you by being with you or near you in that moment? And when you ask that question and you get that answer, then you must fulfill that for yourself. If it's to love yourself, to hold yourself, then wrap your arms around yourself. There's a reason why we are able to do that for ourselves. Truly put into practice loving, giving and receiving love to and from yourself, because that then aligns you with receiving love from your divine masculine. Oh wow, new ideas and way of thinking. Shifting that perspective, goddess, brings positive thoughts and restores trust in humanity. That's so awesome. And then you have the ability to recognize which, there's a typo on my little square there, which path or decision is right for you. Yeah, it is the path of least resistance, but as I'm reading a trauma book, childhood trauma, I'm reading that, adult children of emotionally immature parents. I have obviously my mother, I have a very emotionally immature parent, and that obviously affected me greatly. Like, that's why my birthday is the way it is and why I'm healing this. But in that book, she had mentioned about how emotionally immature adults tend to take the path of least resistance. And that triggered me for a moment, because Abraham teaches us to take the path of least resistance. However, the clarity in that context is that the path of least resistance for a conscious adult is one that says, okay, I am being presented with two roads. Hello, Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. Okay? But you have these two options, these paths that you're being presented with. And one most often is the ego path of obligation, of, but I'll be doing what society wants me to do and what I'm supposed to do. But then over here, it's that path that, it's scary, but wow. And it might be crazy, it might be chaotic, whatever it is. But you feel into each one of them. You allow yourself to kind of feel into this path and go, ooh, is it constrictive or is it expansive? Then you come back, you recalibrate, recenter yourself, and you feel down this path. And so in that context of that critical thinking, of that critical observation that you are providing for yourself, you then by all means take the path of least resistance by way of the path that is calling your soul, the path that feels expansive. That doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges, or it may not be hard hard, as the ego likes to say. Oh, it's so hard. I'm going to piss people off. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And I don't know what it's going to look like exactly, but I know, oh my gosh, it's lighting me up and it feels so amazing. Versus the path of least resistance as a child is that's just the easy path. There's no thought, I don't even want to say thought processes behind it, because it's not so much thought. It's this whole energetic checking in with yourself, feeling into it, going, of all the potential outcomes this way, or this way, right? Versus, that's easy. Right off the bat, you're not even analyzing, you're not even allowing yourself that objective perspective, right? We just take the easy path. Well, there's seldom growth in the easy path as well. The easy path is usually where we stay stuck and we stay in that comfort zone. The challenging path, and that's what it is the opportunity for growth, where it may be, again, the path of least resistance by way of, but that feels amazing. I know I'm going to have to break through so many barriers, but you know what? It's worth it. I'm willing to spread my wings and soar and give it a go. But before all of that really happens, it's about being able to go within yourself and tap into this and say, what do I feel within me? What does feel like the path of least resistance? If I continue to be in the people-pleasing life, I'm always going to be betraying myself. So yeah, it really comes down to you coming back home to you, getting to know yourself, healing yourself, being clear on what is calling you forward, so you can easily break out of those patterns and that self-sabotage and the wound cycles. Because for a child, for even an emotionally immature adult, it's that where you're going to stay in that comfort zone of pain and self-sabotage, because it's easy. It doesn't feel good, and it's not really easy because you have to live in that every single moment. Or you can take the truly easier path and allow for yourself to change and let go of those chains that bind you, that have imprisoned you in a space and place that you don't want to be. So we jumped right in straight to the Divine Masculine, our 1919 number, and I'm feeling one of my new birthday decks here, the Power of Surrender cards. I'm a little full on my little display here. I'm really feeling this to have a little visit with these cards here, because of this deeper level of healing where we all are, and how much the ego does like to stay stuck in its patterns, in its cycles, in its pain and suffering. And one of the biggest things that keeps us in our pain and suffering, in our sabotaging cycles, in our wounds, that keep us from healing, is the letting go. The letting go of the things that are actually keeping us in the perpetuating of that, right? The shifting that perspective, telling a different story. And we have 4 cards that came out for us this morning. Surrender, defensiveness. Ooh, especially as we're in this deeper healing space. Even I can definitely see, right? Because we don't want to be vulnerable. We're afraid of being hurt. But guess what, sister? To truly heal, you have to be vulnerable, and especially with yourself. You have to be vulnerable with yourself. Defensiveness is a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out, then offer a clear, non-defensive response. Because you see, when someone or something outside of us triggers us and we get defensive, when we push against it, in that moment, that's giving power away to whatever that is outside of you. So, surrender and trust that the universe does have your back. And you don't need to be defensive. Because that fuels frustration. With this deeper healing space, you're in a space that you've not been before. And remember, in Super Science Sunday, we were talking about how it's this, all the things that you've been kind of pushing aside on your healing journey that you're like, I don't want to do that yet. Next, can I work on something else, teach? Because I don't really want to do that part of the assignment yet. Let me do some other part. Let me do the other part, right? Well, when we have let things kind of pile up out of avoidance, out of being defensive because we don't want to be hurt anymore. We get frustrated that things aren't happening the way we want them to. And so these two really they fuel each other so much, especially in this deeper healing space. Frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. That is exactly what I was saying about choosing the path of least resistance. If you are experiencing frustration, then you, dear sweet goddess, are choosing a path of great resistance for yourself. Great resistance. I bet you if you really look beneath the surface of that frustration, that it's really coming from being frustrated with yourself. So here we are in this beautiful fashion of things just falling in line here. So surrender to the magic of who you are. Stop denying yourself. Oh, stop denying yourself. All of you. Stop denying yourself. The totality of you. Because when we are defensive, when we're pushing things away and we're not allowing ourselves to see or to shift or to experience or to heal, we're actually keeping at bay parts of ourselves that we are afraid to reintegrate into ourselves, because at this point in our journey, it's a stranger. We all have magic in us. Even in the mundane aspects of life, remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that come from just being you. And every bit of you is wanted, is loved, is here on purpose, with a purpose, and with purpose. Oh, look at that beauty. So don't limit yourself on one hand, right? Don't keep yourself in that little box and playing small. But at the same time, as you step out of that box, it is your responsibility to you to set boundaries for yourself, to say, it's okay for me to step out of bounds because I trust my own boundaries for myself. I no longer need to stay in the confines of this comfort zone in my own mind, of my ego, because I now have recognized that it's because I just didn't have clarified boundaries and I didn't have them laid out. And therefore, I wasn't asserting them. I wasn't implementing them. And as such, that's what has allowed so much of the outside world to come in and have its way with me, mentally, physically, energetically. You are responsible to and for you, goddess. So know that it is healthy to set boundaries. And it says in relationships, not just relationships with others, but especially the relationship with yourself, right? A boundary is, oh, I'm not going to eat the whole cake in one day. I'm going to eat one piece because I love myself. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to myself. And instead pick something other that's healthy and not eat that whole cake. Right? Oh my goodness. So with that, let's just one more. Oh my goodness, because I'm loving my new decks. This is my other new deck for my birthday. This one, I saw it, I went, oh, that's a definite yes. That's a definite yes. And so as I mentioned before, because these cards are front and back, I close my eyes and, apparently that was it. Because I have to open my eyes to even move those. So, fascinating that those got shuffled. And I know for a fact that both of these were from Sundays. They are clearly making sure that you are continuing along this path of the vision, right? Getting into that deeper space of you, your vision, what you've come to create here, on this adventure. I know, goddess, my ego likes to be like, oh my gosh, it's just always work. It's always work. We're always doing the work. It's shadow work. It's soul work. It's work. It's like, okay. Just take a deep breath and no, it's not always work. My inner soul passion inspires me with vision, energy, and optimistic enthusiasm for creative possibilities. I trust that the true vision, awakening from the depths of my heart, attracts the perfect grace, opportunities, relationships, and information required for manifestation. I allow my highest aspirations to nourish me and urge me forward step by step, with total trust in the generosity and goodness of the unknown, which is the portal through which my dreams come to life. But in order to access this, we must go and grow through this deeper healing, because that's where this vision lies, goddess, is within you. Buried beneath all the layers of who you're not. And thus the reason for this deeper healing. That, and I knew this, right? You are supported in, for sure. So picture Jasper. Oh my goodness. I choose to accept the reality that there is support for all levels of my being. I lean into the loving embrace of the universe so that I experience complete and ultimate spiritual fulfillment in such a way that all beings may gain spiritual benefit. As I trust in this divine support, my courage and boldness increase. I choose to live with unconditional trust and confidence in divine grace. And right there, what this says in here, is you are here on purpose, with purpose. Wow. So it's very much about you shifting your perspective right now. Shifting and allowing yourself to see that this is an adventure. Even in the midst of this deeper, excruciating healing it can be, right? That's why I say it's okay as well if you have nothing going on in your mind. That's a good thing. Take advantage of that peaceful moment. And allow yourself to step further into that surrender. Surrender to the healing. Surrender to the journey. Surrender to where you are in this phase of your journey, wherever you are, Goddess. And that brings us back to one of my all-time favorite mantras. Remember, you are where you are, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Because if you were supposed to be anywhere other than where you are, you would be. Okay, Goddess? Trust that. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you so much. I would love if you dropped a comment, your favorite emojis. Drop a comment, let me know you stopped by, say hi. What resonated with you most in this message today for Twin Flame Tuesday? And be sure that if you would like to book a single session with me, that you visit iamempowered.as.me. And with that, I'm feeling to simply remind you that the power to facilitate this healing, to further this expansion journey, your ascension journey, that power to create the life that you desire, that power is in your hands. Because that power has always been inside you. You just have to open your eyes and let yourself see it. Namaste.